Hi, Michaela. Thank you for being in my car today. You know, the reason why I wanted to have this sort of interview conversation is when I first heard, you was working on the German version of the power systems, I thought, man, what she has learned through this process or just the translation part of it, I'm sure there's going to be some pure gold. And I thought, not just for myself, but it would be like really awesome to share it with other people. So,
Mm.
first question is, what sparked your interest in, translating the power systems?
Good question. And first, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're
Uh,
welcome.
that's a good question because the answer would be, I don't know, because I resisted the book so much. Everyone was raving about it, and I heard it in my bubble all over again. This book is great, read it, read it. And I thought, systems, no, I don't want systems. I don't like systems. I won't read it. And then Dominic Scafidi sent a link to podcast, and I listened to this podcast, and I knew, okay, I have to read this book. And whilst reading this book, it was just a feeling like I have to translate it.
Mm. You
And
know,
then I
you
reached
mentioned
out.
you mentioned about resistance. I had that as well. I had that, but I had it in this way. I know about systems. You know, what am I going to learn extra about systems? And like yourself, uh, it was Dominic who really sort of got me into the book. And that was like when he had a picture of, him having a copy of the book. And I thought, okay, look, you know, Dominic's law of attraction system, no, there's got to be something in this. And that's how I started reading it. And yeah, for me, it was more of, um, I don't know, I can't, it shook me. It shook me, just the simple things like it being systems, not my psychology. Um, yeah, and there's always a system in place, and it always worked perfectly fine. Now, I know this isn't your first book because I believe you translated another book.
A few, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, which books have you translated?
I translated Real from Claire
Uh-huh.
Diamond. I translated Insights, Messages of Hope, Peace, and Love from Jane Tucker.
Hmm.
I translated What If? You already know the answer from Elsie Spittle. And yeah, now this one.
And what was the first step that you took to bring this book to life?
The first step was getting in contact with the publisher. So at first
Right.
asking, am I allowed to translate it and what are the terms? And yeah, so that was really the
Uh,
part.
and um, did you have much contact with Trevor or Steve?
Not at all. So now I contacted both, but after the translation was already nearly done, then I
Mhm.
started to send them an email. So yeah.
And what was your journey like? And more to the point, what system did you use while writing the book?
Um, Firstly, I noticed in retrospect that I did it a bit like an actor who's learning the person he's going to play or the character he's going to play. And I wanted to have a feeling for both of them. And I felt like I already had a good feeling for Steve because he was so familiar to me. I have this his newsletter in my inbox for forever. it feels like, and I know his books, and he was kind familiar to me. And then I wanted to get a bit more familiar with Trevor because I hadn't heard of him before. And so I looked up videos and podcasts, and there were a lot in between, especially for this book where he talked about it. And then I got a feeling for his kind of speaking and his kind of humor, and that was really important for me to translate this book. That it's not just
Mm.
taking the words and translate them into German, but I really wanted to keep the feeling and the lightheartedness and the fun that's in the book.
So it sounds like you got to know both Trevor and Steve really well without actually being with them.
Yeah, I binged watched videos were from not so much from Steve, but I already, yeah, he was familiar, but yeah, I binged watched a lot of Trevor. Yeah. And there are hours, hours of content.
Oh, that's awesome. So what would you say was like your biggest challenge or obstacle on this journey?
Um, Sometimes the fun that's in the word and the and when they play with words and in English it makes total sense and it's obvious and you can get it that it's has double meaning or something like that. And
Mhm.
to translate this into German that it makes sense and feels good and people know what this is about. I think that was the biggest thing I ran into. Yeah.
And what would you say you've learned about yourself during this process, you know?
First of all, I learned more systems. I I saw my own systems that were invisible before, and
Mm,
I and it's become kind of second nature to think in systems. In terms before it was all like the chapter on systems, not psychology, and
mm,
before it was more on me and what I'm doing wrong, even though knowing the principles, I know that taking things personally was optional, and but it was still, or I think it's still a different level now, just seeing this as a system. And if something doesn't work,
mhm.
okay, just change the system or twist and see what happens. Check it out, play with it, and yeah.
So how many times have you read the book?
Oh, I'm guessing 7 to 6 times. I'm guessing the English one
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
3 times, no, at least 3 or 4 times the German version.
So like, you know, when you revisit it, do you find other things pop out for you from the pages? Like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that before, or
Yeah, especially during the translation. I read it, I think, twice before I started translating. And then during the translation, sometimes there were parts that seems like they haven't been there before. So the first time
mm,
I read them, they were invisible, and now, oh, or examples they gave. Sometimes the first time I read them and didn't read them, or yeah, and then whilst translating, I thought, oh wow, this is an example. This is so cool, and yeah.
and have you shared the book with people, well, in Germany who are non-coaching or coaches?
Yeah, they are a first. There are some pre-copies because it's not yet translate.
Oh,
It's not yet. available
Uh-huh.
officially, but this is how it looks like. And yeah, my clients got a copy, and some friends and colleagues, and also people who already know the English version. And yeah, it's interesting. I think just yesterday I had a call with a client, and she was talking about something she noticed in her life that she wanted to change. And then she looked at me and said, "Huh, now I just have to find another system." And I said,
Mm,
"Yeah, wow, how cool." Instead of, "Oh, what's wrong with me and how can I fix
mm.
me?" and all the things, it was just, now I just need a new system. I said, "Okay." And then we just sat there, and I don't know, it didn't take 10 minutes, and she came up with a new system. And now she's happy and wants to try it out. And
Oh,
that's
that's
so cool.
awesome. So, if there was one thing you would like people to know, be it about the book or be about the journey, what would you like them to know?
One thing is hard. Um, I would say,
Okay, you could choose more than one.
okay, poo.
Mm,
The one thing I would say is, trust your feeling. And and the first one, because I I knew I wanted to translate the book. And then when I reached out to Maurice, the publisher, I started thinking about it, and I got the contract, and I started thinking even more about it. And it would have been so easy to say, no, I don't do this. This doesn't feel good at all. But I just knew not to follow the feeling that comes up when I'm in my head and thinking about it.
mm,
So that's something that was even more clear to me. Just trust the feeling. It feels like this book has to be translated by me, and I just followed it. And the other thing I really like is, what if you see your whole life through the lens of systems?
mm.
When all the things you're doing, and when you're surrounded of systems, and
Yeah,
when something doesn't work, it's not a problem with yourself, it's just a system that works the way it should, but doesn't get the outcome you'd like to have.
yeah, that's something I notice. Like when something doesn't deliver the result I want, it's like, oh, it's because of the system I'm using. And I've been able to course correct. Like when I was doing a marathon, I had one system of, well, it wasn't a marathon, it was a half marathon. I had this awesome system of sort of like jogging for 10 minutes and then walking for 1 minute. While I'm running, I felt this incredible pain. In the past, I would have most probably either sort of said, no, I'm not going, or really beat myself up. I shifted that. I said, I'll walk 1 minute and I'll run for five. And that kind of dropped the drop. Those actually changes. But it was so weird to notice how it was in play in real time.
Yeah.
And I am so curious now is to find out is what's the next book? Actually, is there a book in you waiting to come out?
Yeah,
And for someone else to translate it into English?
um, yeah, so I have written books, but I took them all down because they don't feel right anymore. And I'm actually writing one with a colleague, so you're the first to officially know.
Oh my God.
We don't know. We are we copied or borrowed the system Steve and Trevor used, so
Uh-huh.
we don't know where it takes us, and if it really will be a book or something else. We don't know. in the flow, and we're doing
That
it.
is
Yeah.
something that's going to be cool for another conversation another time on that. So, um, so that's the one that you're sort of working on at the moment. Is there any other books that you would love to translate?
Mm, yeah. The one I'd like to translate and maybe will is Solving the Unsolvable by William Jeruzzi. And
Ah,
I don't know if you know it. It's a small book. It's a free PDF,
I
and
think you sent that link to me.
I might have, yes.
I will revisit that.
And
Oh,
that book just yeah, it's about, or the vision is eliminating suffering in the world. So that's a small vision. And
it's just a tiny bit.
yeah, just and I think it's the date he said is some a day in 2040 or so. So we have a few years to accomplish this mission, and yeah.
So, Michaela, remind us about when the book's going to be released, and also, can you pronounce the German title as well?
Yeah, so the official launch day is October 13th, and the German version, and this is how it looks like, is Die Kraft der Systeme, wie sie ein Leben erschaffen, das funktioniert.
That's kind of a bit longer than the power systems.
Yeah, but the English has a subtitle too, How to Create a Life That
Oh,
Works. Um, so
as you
that's
said that, that sort of landed for me.
yeah.
Um, thank you very much, Michaela. I really appreciate you making the time. And yeah,
Thanks for having
there's
me.
gold in there for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.